William Afton, the antagonist of the growing series, Five Nights at Freddy's. From putting corpses into suits, to hacking advanced AI, our team at FNAF Central brings you the history of William Afton.
Michael! Don't leave me here! Michael! Michael! Help me!
Welcome everyone to the channel where we go over all things Five Nights at Freddy's. Today we are going to be deep diving into the main antagonist in the series, Purple Guy, or William Afton. Today we are going to be going over William Afton from every single Five Nights at Freddy's game, from release date, so FNAF 4 will not be the starting point in this video. So, without any further ado, let's begin. The history of William Afton. William was a robotic engineer, who lived in Hurricane, Oregon. He and his partner Henry, both wanted to pursue their dreams of making their robotic characters, and bring them to life. William and Henry both brainstormed for days on what they would make, and soon they came to a conclusion to make an animatronic entertained restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Henry and William got the funds to make the pizzeria and got straight to work on designing the interior and the animatronics. William and Henry made 4 animatronics: Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. The pizzeria soon opened to the public for all to enjoy. Soon though, William snapped and decided he would lure 5 kids to the back room and kill them. He used the old suit from the first location called Fredbear's Family Diner Spring Bonnie costume to lure the children into the parts and service room. It is presumed after William Afton lost his child to his own creations back in the old diner, something snapped in him, which would soon lead him to a life of killing. Once William lured the children to the back room, he then killed them to collect their remnant. Remnant is someone's life energy that can only be obtained after death. Without any experience with murdering, William made mistakes. He didn't know where to put the bodies, until he realized that there were 5 kids, and there were 5 suits in the building. So to cover up the murders, he hid the corpses into the suits of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. The souls would then go on to possess the suits they were stuffed into and haunt the night guard at night, thinking that it's the man who killed them, William Afton. This is where William started his murder spree, and this would certainly not be the end. A brand new restaurant. After the old pizzeria shut down due to rancid smells, and the animatronics acting differently, as well as being scary, William and Henry decided to go in an entirely different direction and decided to make the animatronics very kid-friendly, and make them much more interactable. The animatronics Henry and William made were toy versions of the previous animatronics, to give them a much shinier look and make them much less intimidating. These animatronics are Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, Mangle, Balloon Boy, and the Marionette. Not too long after the new pizzeria is opened, William would go back to his old habit of murdering. Rinse and repeat, the same trick as last time. Lured children to the back, and took their lives. As we see in the Give Kids Pizza minigame, there is a child outside of a room crying, because they can't be let inside the room to have pizza like everyone else. Soon we see a purple car come up and stop next to the kid. We see a purple man get out of the vehicle. We know this is William Afton since his nickname is Purple Guy. Then we see the child slowly start to cry more, and then turn into a gray lifeless child. Soon after we get a jump scare from the puppet. Later on in the story, this child that William killed was none other than his best friend's and co-owner of the establishment's daughter Charlotte. Soon after this, Henry realized that these murders were following the restaurant, which led him to suspect William Afton to be the culprit to the murders. But without any evidence against him, Henry resigned from being co-owner and dedicated his life to putting Afton to justice. Before the beginning of the night guard's shifts in the third game, we are shown that William Afton is dead due to Springlock Failure, from his own creations. This is what happened: William Afton went to destroy the suits with the souls in them so they would stop trying to kill him, presumably. But once he destroys the suits too, all the animatronics souls get free and begin to chase him. Without any options, he runs to the supply closet and finds the old suit of Spring Bonnie. He puts on the suit in a fit of panic, forgetting that he is in a broken and forgotten restaurant, so there were pipe leaks coming down from the ceiling. If you don't know how spring locks work, it's a lock that remains untightened until it gets moisturized. Since there were leaky pipes, a splash of water fell from the roof and got onto the suit. The spring locks went off, and William Afton's bones, organs, and his entire body were crushed by the pressure of metal, gears, and the spring locks. He then died alone, a slow, agonizing death. Inside of the third game, workers of Fazbear's Fright believe that the Springlock suit is an old relic from Fredbear's Diner, and bring it to the attraction for some scares. Little do they know, same as with the children's souls, Afton's soul now possesses this animatronic. Afton is the only threat during the night, other than hallucinations of the souls that Afton tortured, and then freed after he destroyed the suits. William Afton is seen inside of Fredbear's family diner, in a flashback from his youngest son Evan Afton. William is seen helping a worker suit up inside of the Spring Bonnie suit to go perform. Evan Afton is then taken by his eldest brother, Michael Afton, away into Fredbear. Michael Afton and his friends put Evan into Fredbear's mouth. When the tears from Evan's eyes go inside the animatronic, activating the spring locks, Fredbear then shuts his mouth due to the spring locks, and bites off the frontal lobe of Evan Afton's head. This is what every Five Nights at Freddy's fans know is the bite of 87. In the final moments of the game, where Evan is dying inside his consciousness, we hear a voice presumably coming from the Golden Freddy plushie. But it is then later revealed to be William Afton talking to Evan as he dies. He says the words, "I can put you back together." Evan then dies and William has lost a son. When William said "I will put you back together," he meant that he would put his son's soul into an animatronic. This animatronic was the same one to kill him, Golden Freddy. Evan would then go on to haunt Golden Freddy, but he would also share the suit with another child, Cassidy. In this game we don't hear or see much of William, but we do see what happens to the rest of his family. William Afton had a rental district for the pizzerias, where families can rent animatronics and take back to their homes, and party with them. The two specific animatronics we are going to be talking about are Circus Baby and Ballora. Circus Baby is the main entertainer of the underground pizzeria. She is a very large animatronic who can dispense ice cream to guests. Elizabeth Afton, who is William's youngest child and only daughter, really wanted to see the Circus Baby, since her father designed the animatronic after her, which made her very eager to see it. But William refused and did not allow her to see it. Why, you may ask? This is because William programmed the animatronic with a special software, where if there is one child in the room, the animatronics would take them and kill them, by grabbing them and putting them inside their endoskeleton. Each animatronic had their own way of getting the guests, but we only saw the Circus Baby's method. One day Elizabeth Afton snuck away from her father, and went into the baby's room. There were a few kids in the room, until soon they all ran out of the room, which left just Circus Baby and Elizabeth Afton. We see in the circus baby minigame what happened to Elizabeth Afton. Elizabeth was taken by a claw and dragged into the baby's stomach, where she was crushed and killed by the force and pressure of the animatronic. Now on to Ballara. It is somewhat known that the soul inside Ballara is Mrs. Afton, who is or was William Afton's wife. There isn't much known about how she died, but there is a very popular theory. The theory is Mrs. Afton finds out what William has been doing and files for a divorce and wanted to call the police, so to stop her William Afton decided to kill her so he wasn't convicted. He then regretted what he did, and decided to build an animatronic to help him cope with his wife's death, which was Ballara. In this game we are taken back to where Afton is an animatronic hunting you, but in this game it's not just him hunting you. During one of two arcade games you can buy in the shop, we are introduced to a highway speed chase game, where we are a man speeding down the highway. You can play the game normally, or right before you go to the finish line, go to the tiny gap at the bottom of the screen into a new area, where we presumably play as William Afton, even though he is not purple but orange. This is because it is said William is always in the shadows, but this time since he is at his house, he is no longer in the shadows. You walk inside the house as William, and see a kid watching TV. This is presumably Michael Afton, since in FNAF sister location, we see Michael Afton watching TV. You then go to the next room and the door is locked. You can't open the door, so you go outside to the window at the back of the house. You then see shattered glass and animatronic footprints. We are left wondering what kid was in that room, and who took the kid. We all speculate that the kid was Evan, since the minigame took place right after William killed Henry's daughter. So many think that the animatronic to take Evan was the puppet or Charlotte. The last minigame that has relevance to William Afton is the game where you play as a little girl, running around collecting fruit. Sometimes, when you are running around, you may see a yellow bunny burrow itself out of the ground and stare at you. If you play the game and beat it multiple times, there are sudden changes. On the first playthrough, you would see the girl smiling. In the second one you can see her frightened. Now once you play the game another time, you will see all the same things as before, but this time we would see a dog that has no legs, and blood coming out of its lower half. Now this is presumed to be the little girl's dog, as she wouldn't be crying if she didn't know the dog. If we play the game again, we see the dog even more mangled and torn apart. The image on the screen changes as well. The girl is now seen crying, but you can barely see Spring Bonnie standing behind her. At the end of the minigame it says, "He isn't really dead. He's over there. Follow me." This is 100% William Afton luring another kid to be his next victim. Many people believe for the little girl to be the child that haunts Chica's animatronic, for the reason that Chica is the only female soul inside any animatronic, besides Cassidy, Elizabeth, Mrs. Afton, and Charlotte. But we know all their names, and who they haunt, but for this little girl, Chica is the only animatronic that would make the most sense. During the gameplay of the sixth game we see William as a new form of Springtrap, but now known as Scraptrap. We get the option to scrap or return William to the alley. If we are to return him to the alley, then we will get the bad ending to the game, since the entire plan for the sixth game was to kill William Afton, and all the others who are trapped inside a suit. But, if we are to salvage him, then he will sneak into the pizzeria and be a threat during the night. At the end of the game we hear Henry's famous speech. At the end of the speech there is a fire which kills all the animatronics, Henry, and William. Or so we thought. As we go on to FNAF VR, we find out that William has managed to live once again, but this time, in a different way. In this game, William Afton has been deleted from the real world, but managed to revive himself by Remnant, into a virtual game. We see him slowly start to appear more clearly as we progress through the game. Afton is not seen much in this game, besides the 4 endings. On the first ending, we see Afton luring us into the curtain. Once we complete the pizza party level, We are then shown to have a microphone in our hands and perform on stage, which leads us to believe we were a victim of William Afton and we got stuffed inside of Freddy. In the second ending we are being absorbed by Glitchtrap. After we collect all the tapes, and follow instructions from the lady over the VHS, we then have to do a certain thing which then traps Glitchtrap into a tiny little plushie. In the third ending, if we fail to merge consciousnesses with Glitchtrap, then our consciousness is trapped behind a safe, and William Afton then takes control of our body. And in ending 4, if we get his mask and wear it at the prize coulter, we are given some dialogue between Vanny and Afton. Here is the audio now.
Yes, I hear you. I know. No. There's no miscommunication. I understand. Yes, I have it. I made it myself. I think you would like it. No one suspects anything. Don't worry. I'll be ready. And I won't let you down. It will be fun.
We can't make out what Afton is saying, but we know that Vanny is talking with Afton. And that talk is probably what led to Five Nights at Freddy's security breach. This section will be very small, since this game is supposed to be fun and hard with minimal lore. Cassidy is so angry with what William has done, she has trapped him in his own personal hell, where all the animatronics that he stuffed with souls are coming after him and he must fend them off before they catch him. That's about all for UCN. The latest game in the franchise, William Afton, appears very briefly. But he does affect you all throughout the game. Afton is the reason everyone is after you. He has taken control of everyone's software, such as Monty, Chica, Roxanne, Moondrop, and Sundrop. At the end of the game, we see Afton coming out of a charging unit where he is burned and broken beyond recognition from his previous self. We then see Afton send all the animatronics that he has controlled after Gregory, including Glamrock Freddy, who manages to fight off the controlling for the game, and at the end if you manage to keep Afton at bay. At the very end of the game we see Afton limping towards Freddy and Gregory, but as soon as he gets close, he is dragged away by the Blob, who is thought to be an amalgamation between every animatronic. After that Afton isn't seen again for the rest of the game. And that's about it for the story of William Afton. A loved man went to a psycho killer and a evil mastermind. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want some more FNAF content, please let me know in the comments. Also, don't be shy to give me some video ideas. If I like your idea, I will pin your comment and have that as my next video. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to keep this channel alive and growing. Have a great day everyone. Until next time, peace.